first for coming in last. Went to the bank, happy alive. Nigga fuck love, rather by rap. Nigga fuck love, rather by rap.
Tired as fuck.
Hey, bro, episode 17. Woodcrest certified
38.
coming at you. Thank you everybody for tuning in again. Just get the intros out right away before I forget again later. But when you're coming in, please like, subscribe, comment below what you guys think about some of our discussion points. Let us know if you agree, disagree, and if there's any topics you'd like for us to cover in future episodes. So coming today for you, we're gonna start with the Ahmaud Arbery trial and the verdict that released the other day as well. Kind of talk that through about the guys that are fucking bitches that are getting locked up there. And yeah, so take it away, David. You mentioned off camera, you were kind of going into the details a little bit. If you want to continue where you were going with that.
No, I was asking you guys about how the actual crime took place early in
It was like a February.
2021, February, right?
It was
Yeah,
like February of that month.
it was
that
2020, I
year.
thought, wasn't it?
It might have been even earlier than that, but maybe.
It was 2020. It was February of 2020.
Mhm.
And yeah, David, so you were talking about how it kind of took a while for people to actually get for them guys to get locked up and everything during the process. And so yeah, because one of the guys, he used to work for the law enforcement out there. So then they went through a few different like district attorneys or whatever people to process it because two people had to get kicked off because of like a close connection with the guy being a former employee, and then another lady that came in, her son worked for the police force as well. So then there was kind of like the conflict of interest. So that's why I kind of took a little bit on
I
that
think I
front.
think I, I think his brother or his brother-in-law was the district attorney as well.
Yeah, so then that's why there was a few changing of the guards, and they even mentioned in the trial too, where in the beginning how the chick who was in charge of the police force then showed kind of favoritism to dude when they killed him and like let them go and everything because of that relationship there. But ultimately, they finally justice was had, they finally convicted them and whatnot. But yeah, so two of them are going without parole or life without parole, and then the driver, it was that he's he's the only one with life with the ability for parole after I think they said 20 years.
Bitches, bro. Like,
What a whore, and not
like
a good whore.
Yeah.
the fact that this nigga gotta say not a good whore. My nigga's really trying, and I respect that.
You
But
can use I use that shit complimentary sometimes. So
I know I see it, bro. Like we've talked about this. But my nigga's trying to yeah, he's trying to push the fucking progressivism in a way that's unique to you. But anyways, but
so
anyways, like that's just crazy because like these guys were just completely in the wrong, right? Like from what I read, Aubrey stopped like at an abandoned house
Mm.
to like drink water, which is something that I guess all the neighborhood kids do. Like they all hang around there. They all like, like the same way we did, like we would drink out of like faucets and shit. Um, and these guys felt like fucking Batman. It's probably like in terms of like besides like the video being released, that's like the worst case scenario of like justice failing, where these guys were just 1,000% in the wrong. They clearly racially profiled this guy, fucking ended up killing him. Like he ended up in a scenario where he had to fucking like there's three guys in the street or two guys in the streets with guns.
Mm.
Like I'm he had to attack him. Like I mean at that
Yeah.
point, what the fuck are you gonna do? He ends up dead, and like the entire justice system, like the local justice system, try to bury the shit. If that video didn't get released, like these guys would still be out in the streets, man. It's like I got real mixed feelings because it's like, yeah, these guys got locked up, but it was almost like that rat pressing the button in Endgame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
it's just crazy.
The in Endgame, the Marvel movie, when it's
The
like
rat? What rat?
there was a mouse that hit the button that released Ant-Man. He was in the
Oh,
quantum realm.
it was
And
on
you really should
accident.
watch these movies
Yeah.
awake,
It was
bro.
Nah,
it
I've
was
seen
after the
Endgame like
movie
10 times
ended.
now.
It was after the movie ended. It was like the
Oh, it's in
No,
the
it was
credits?
no, it's the very beginning of Endgame.
Yeah, like that's how Ant-Man got out. The rat
Yeah.
pressed, got
And
into
then
the truck.
No, the beginning of Endgame is the bow and arrow guy.
Nah, nigga, you're way off.
anyway, that's besides the point. Let's get
Yeah.
that's besides the point. Golly. So I was
Yeah,
'cause I
but they
was
barely
reading
got
into-
locked up. I agree with you.
So I was
Yeah,
reading
like,
into it and like so there's this law in Alabama apparently, or not in Alabama, Georgia, sorry, in Georgia, where essentially it allows people to make citizens arrests, right?
But that's not just Georgia though.
Well, I don't. So I'm just saying like that was part of their case. Is
Yeah.
like their main point was like it allows people to do citizens arrests if they see someone doing that act of crime type of shit,
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of what they were going off of, and then those fucking cocksuckers during the trial were trying to say, and then he attacked them, so then they were using self defense as their excuse
nigga,
as to why they had to
hop-
kill him. I was like, bro, he was fucking running away from you guys for like ever, and like he didn't have a choice but to attack you right at that
Dude,
point.
And we keep saying attack. Words made. He defended himself.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
didn't
Like
attack
he
shit,
he had
like-
no other choice but to defend himself, right? And then go at them. I'm like they got fucking guns to him, right? So what else is a man to do at that point? Like they have no reason to be investigating this guy type of shit. So like the guy is a retired, he was an investigator too. So this man thinks he's still on the fucking job or whatever. Like he's a hero going out here. Like bro,
It's that superiority complex. I had this conversation at my job the other day. Like certain people will walk in my store, right?
mm,
And it's fine. Nobody says anything. It's cool. Then certain other people walk in the store and they're like, oh, customer service, customer service. And then when I cut the corner and see what they look like, I'm like, oh, this is why you're saying that. But then I'm like, statistically proven middle-aged white women steal the most. So if we really give a fuck about stealing, we need a customer service everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like not just certain people. So now you go back to this trial. The dude's in the neighborhood. It's a nice neighborhood or a decent neighborhood.
mm.
It can't be black in a
Suburb.
decent neighborhood. Yeah, like, but it's decent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
so he can't, because if you see the houses and stuff in the background, you're like, oh shit, like pretty, maybe not expensive because it's Georgia, because you know, for the price of a studio, you could get a mansion in Georgia. Like, so,
Georgia
but
sucks.
the motherfucker is running away from you. Like, why not leave him alone at that point? Like, what is he doing that's that dangerous? And then even as a cop, escalation of force, like you use a gun for somebody that has his fist. Like, it's three of y'all. At least jump him, kick him, beat him up, knock him out, do something. But you gotta shoot him, like
For what, nigga? And it's crazy because like this nigga's a retired cop. He finished his entire tenure as a Georgia police officer. Like,
to go to jail.
imagine, like, besides that though, like, imagine the things he's got away with so far. Like, this is the first time we caught his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine all the other shit he's done.
You
That
crazy.
point you just made reminded me of something I was reading up on Twitter. I don't know if I shared it with you guys, but there's this district judge in Alabama, who there was a video released of her. I guess there was like somebody on her property that was maybe attempting to burglarize her crib. And she's watching the home, like the home footage, like with her family, and she's like, nigger this, nigger that. Roach.
Oh no, that was in Louisiana. That was in Louisiana.
Yeah, that was
I know what you're talking
Louisiana.
about.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
in Louisiana.
But this bitch is a judge, and it's like
That's just crazy.
there's no telling like how her, being
Her,
has impacted other people's lives, like especially
For
you know
sure.
black people, and it's just like that's super fucked up. And then you know what her excuse was? This shit was ridiculous. She said that she was under some like sedative drugs, and she didn't have like no recollection of that video.
Yeah.
Nigga, that's their go-to, bro. That's their go-to. I was on medication.
What?
They love to go there.
Oh my gosh, bro.
But that
Yeah.
even
But your point. Sorry,
what
go ahead.
David said, it go back to one of the episodes that we made about systemic racism and redlining and all that. It goes to show you, like, in certain situations, like they had the same shit in Chicago, like how a judge, they went back and reviewed all her cases and saw a whole bunch of like falsified documents, getting people to swear under oath and lie and do all this shit. So I think it was like over 112 cases that they had to go back and overthrow. 112. You know how much families got impacted by that alone? Like dads that went to jail that come back out that can't get jobs. Now they resort to selling drugs or doing whatever necessary to get money to pay bills, whatever. It's like, when shit like that happen, they should get the death penalty. Fuck that. Like, that's crazy. You literally ruin generations, bro. Like,
Deliberately.
Like
deliberately.
the one that I think of, probably like the shining example, is from that what do they call it? The Central Park 6?
Yeah.
Five. Central Park
yeah.
5.
Did you
Central
ever
Park
watch the
5.
shit that's on Netflix? That's a tough ass watch, bro. When they
I
see
didn't
us, that's what it's called.
I didn't watch the Netflix special, but like I read a bunch about it, and like I watched videos and shit, and like it's nuts. Like that's just fucking crazy. The fact that they basically, like, anybody with a brain can tell that halfway, probably even before halfway through that case, they knew they had the wrong people, and they still like fabricated evidence. She found like a fucking weapon, like she probably found that fucking brick in her backyard or something, like. And she was completely okay with ruining these people's lives. And I'm with Peterson, man. Like, in this, like, she made millions of dollars off of that shit.
It's an author.
She wrote a book.
Yeah, she went on to like make mad bread, and she took away these 5 dudes' opportunity to make any type of bread.
She wrote
off
like
of
2
off
books.
of what? Off of no evidence, and it's just like, what a fucking. I want to say some words, but
off of a wave, bro. Like, off of a wave. She just took advantage of like America's anxiety towards young minorities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she became a fucking millionaire off of that shit, where in reality, like, there should be severe consequences for shit like that. Like, I'm saying, like, in my job, right? Like, in both of my jobs, I do maintenance, right? And let's say I do some crazy shit on the helicopter, and that causes a fire, or that causes some sort of malfunction that injures people or even kills people, right? Like, I gotta go on trial for that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I gotta get a lawyer. Like, I gotta go through a fucking process where I have to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with my other job. Like, if I hurt somebody because of the shit that I did, like, there's consequences. But like, when it comes to these people who aren't even elected officials, nobody chose them to be in these positions. Like, this bitch just got promoted. She was like sucking dick or something. That's sexist, but please don't cancel me. Please don't cancel me. But in reality, like, she just got promoted from, whatever the steps were to get promoted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she ruined these people's lives by all measures deliberately, and she ended up on the other end with fucking millions of dollars. Like, that shit's crazy, bro. Like, that's probably the biggest shining example of the failure in our system, bro.
Even with Ahmaud Arbery, everybody was like, finally justice. And I made a statement before we started recording, like, it is justice on one end, but justice is only for the living. Like, he's dead. Like, he can't, wherever he was at that point in his life is terminated. It's over with. Like, he can't do anything past wherever he was at. And it's just like, for what? Because you had this sense of, I can't even call it justice because that would be disrespect to justice. You had this sense of whatever the fuck mental illness you got going on. Like,
it's funny how you're struggling with that shit, because I end up in the same position all the time. Where, like I told you before, I probably mentioned this before on the podcast, like, I try to like enter the mind of these fuckers and try to like formulate some sort of logic. And I'm telling you, when it comes to that shit, like I can't come up with anything. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, oh, there's a black guy running. Let me take care of this shit.
Gotta
Like,
investigate.
I gotta investigate this
I don't,
shit.
and I don't understand. Like it said that it was well known that that was an abandoned house,
Yeah.
right? So, what is he stealing? Supposedly, like they said that they saw him stealing. What is he stealing from an abandoned house? There's
But-
nothing
And
there.
like,
Some of
and
these
this-
houses, people go in and strip like the copper wires and go sell it and do stuff. But what the fuck does that got to do with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, call the police. Like, if that's the
in his head,
case.
he is the police. That nigga's. I'm the police. I'm
Yeah.
Batman.
He
Like,
said,
that
I
nigga
am
fell,
the
bro.
law.
a retired
Fuck outta here,
doctor, a retired surgeon is not a surgeon anymore. Like, cause you gotta continue to certify and keep up. Like, you're done. Like, you're
Yeah.
retired. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I know a nurse right now that's retired. She's not a nurse. She's an ex-nurse. Like,
Yeah,
you're finished, bro. Like,
you're done.
but you would rather protect the house versus a life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's so hard for me to formulate it because it doesn't make sense. It's almost like I don't know. It's a disconnect somewhere, bro. Like, you literally
Yeah, for
snuff
sure.
somebody's life out, bro.
Like, my nigga's living like on a different plane or some shit. He's not working with the same logic that I think normal people are, bro. Like, and like I said, like this guy was on the police force for a minimum 25 years.
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
I can't imagine that there wasn't prior damage done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, it
This is
was
the first
it
time he
was
got
him and his
caught.
son too, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how
it
it
was-
usually goes,
Yeah,
man.
him and his son
Yeah.
riding around,
And the
then-
neighbor.
and then the neighbor. Yeah,
Yeah, then the neighbor. It's just like, but then how many tickets this motherfucker wrote that people had to pay, and that's probably like they last dollars for the moment. How many times he pulled a motherfucker over or sent somebody to jail? Like, even like you seen the video a while back. Like, the dude pulled some guy over, pulled him out of the car, and I guess his camera was still on. He was supposed to shut it off, and he went to go throw the drugs in the back seat. And he's like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" He's like, I mean, it's like, what, bitch? Like, like you
Wow.
deserve to get fucking stoned, motherfucker. Like,
Mhm.
what was the point of even doing that? What was the purpose? Like, you just chose some random car and was like, okay, he's black, and I'm just gonna ruin his life. Like,
dude, that shit happened to Phil when I was the first time I went to Cali. I was riding around with Phil, and it was like 2 in the morning, and we were on our way back to his crib, and we got pulled over. And
Come on, Phil.
yeah, like
Come
Phil,
on, Phil. That's the
yeah,
only Phil that's relevant to this podcast,
Yeah.
bro.
And so we
Classic.
got pulled over, and like Phil wasn't speeding, right? You know, we're literally turning into his neighborhood, and then the cop was like, what are you guys doing here? And Phil's like, I live right over here. And then like he gave him his license. So like there was no reason for him to stop Phil, right? We were just on our way back to the crib, like not blasting music, nothing. And then he just pulled over. He was like, okay, go ahead, and just let us go. And it was on some weird shit. Like he took his shit, looked them up, like did the research or whatever, and then he was just like, all right, go ahead, type shit on some weird, like why, like what are you doing?
the only time I can understand that certain areas people is not aware of is curfews in the area.
This is pre-pandemic and all that, man. There ain't no curfews.
No. Like
Yeah.
way before,
Yeah.
before. And I learned that too because I was going home to St. Cloud, which St. Cloud, but I was going home and I stopped at my mom's house to pick up Jay. And then the reason I got pulled over was stupid. He told me my tag light was out, which it wasn't. Because when I got home, I left the car on and looked, and the tag light was clearly fucking working.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Oh, it's a curfew in this area past a certain time. Unless you're coming from work, you can't just be driving out of nowhere." And I guess it was a lower income area. Like, it's weird. And then I looked it up, and it turned out to be right. Like, it was right as fuck. But the fact that he pulled me over for the tail light or the tag light was strange. Like,
sounds like a violation of your rights, bro. What the fuck is curfew?
No, it was true though. I looked it up on everything. It was honest, but the fact I was in a Grand Marquis on 22s, bro. Like in a certain
Like
area.
like that's basically what is it called? Something suspicion or something.
Yeah.
Probable
It's a
cause.
probable cause. Thank you, David. English is hard, but that's that, that's what that was made for. It was made so that you can basically pull whoever over. Like what really happens is I feel like early in the system, like early like in the process of making some of these laws, there is some sort of logic. Like probable cause is meant to basically prevent things from happening, right? Like you see something suspicious, you don't really have a valid reason to pull them over. You could just say probable cause and you could pull them over, right? Like at the paper stage, that's what it was meant for. But we've seen it get abused over and over again. Like, like cops now, like, oh, I'll just pull this guy over, whatever. And I feel like that's what a lot of those curfew laws are as well, where like it was like, okay, it's meant for this, but then it gets into the hands of some of these assholes and they do what they want with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the Central Park Five, them dude once it came out that the new evidence or whatever and it was all overturned, they did get it paid out, right?
They did, but I
Yeah.
wasn't the one of the guys that stayed in longer.
Yeah, and he was the dude that like he wasn't even with the group or whatever. Like he just ended up going to them and was sleeping
For
in
his
the
homeboy, yeah.
Mm.
And what killed me about that, I don't care if they gave that man $1 trillion.
yeah.
If you hear him speak, and I'm not even emotional, that shit be fucking me up. Like,
Yeah.
cause they brutalized him in jail, they molested him in jail, they sodomized him in jail, they did a whole bunch of stuff just so you could fit your fucking agenda. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Is
So
it
somebody
that's
could
where
get
they found the
promoted,
actual
nigga.
culprit to that crime too, right? While he was in jail.
yes.
I'm going off of what I saw on Netflix. I know there's a lot of truth to it. I don't know how much is like exaggerated or whatever, but
No, that's
yeah,
what I read
the
too.
last one that was released, he got into a fight with a guy in jail. It turned out that guy that he got into a fight with was the actual culprit behind the
Yeah.
rape and the assault on the woman in Central Park.
And then his cases prior matched to the same motives of the case in the park, and they already had him in custody. All they had to do review his case, and they would have known that he did that one too. But since they had the 5 already, she didn't want to go back and look crazy.
Yeah. Like
What
it's
a
crazy because
fucking
like
sleaze bag.
Yeah.
like it was the notoriety or whatever that word is. Like she was on national TV. She had a lot of attention. She seen it as an opportunity, and her pride, bro. Like both of them, the whole attorney team and the fucking the lady,
Mm.
The
like it was more
DA.
about like your pride and your fucking job mean more to you than like these people's lives. Like I don't know. I don't want to
Who
go
you're
on a
allegedly
rant,
supposed to
bro.
serve, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
serving
that lady's
who,
still
nigga?
out and about too. Like she hasn't faced no
Nigga,
consequences for
she's
this.
living nicely, bro. She's living very nice.
Yeah, they just took away. They took away. I don't think she could sell her books anymore. It's a few. It was like a slap on the wrist, basically. Like she
I don't
still got
understand
She
how
her
you
didn't
could
lose
do
kids.
that.
15 years of her fucking life though.
No.
No, she
No.
didn't. As a
That
kid,
fucking
as a kid too.
It's
Yeah.
wild. And to this day, she still denies the shit.
Yeah.
To this day, she still denies it. Like she doubles down, bro. Like she's
she's going to
Woodcrest level
hell, like for
ignorant.
sure,
Like if there's a hell, it's
Nah.
made for people like her. Like for real, for sure.
bro.
Yeah.
She got a first fucking class flight to that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Not even. There's no first class flights to hell.
She got to walk.
She got she taking the express lane to that bitch for sure.
Yeah. That kind of just got me thinking when the kids got when they got released and they did get money for it after, but and I had this discussion the other day. It's not like any of the topics that I brought to you guys. What are your thoughts on how like Native Americans they get money or if you're a certain percentage, you get free school, right? Do you think that's fair? Do you think it's not fair? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I think everyone should get free school. Because
Well,
why the fuck
besides
does it
that,
cost so much money to educate yourself? Someone wants to
I don't
educate
know.
himself, just fucking let him.
I mean, I don't know about free, but like yeah, it's overpriced. As far as like minorities getting certain exemptions or scholarships, especially when it comes to like what it is that America a long time ago realized like we did them dirty as fuck. and, and we really don't know what to do about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Giving them free school is probably the least that we can do.
And the reservations, the living, I've been on the reservation. The living quality on there is like tough. So it's just like
Those are probably like the roughest places in America, bro.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and then it's like, is it free, motherfucker? Y'all took their land. Like, it should have already been free school.
Yeah.
like you know, how, and it's not even funny,
like-
but it's funny. Like,
I think will rob you or buy you a burger. Like, act like he did you a favor and shit.
a nigga took your house, right? Allow you to rent a room from them, but then charge you $1,200 for the room. But you can't walk around the whole house. You only could stay in that corner.
Yeah.
It's like that
Fucked
don't make no sense. You know how some people be like, go back to your country. It's like, nigga, this ain't yours either.
Bro, like,
Yeah.
like I love how we tried to like underplay colonization. Like that wasn't like the biggest issue of like the last 300 years. Like these niggas were a fucking these niggas were a menace, bro. These Western Europeans, these niggas were a menace, bro. Like these niggas were like fucking termites in a house, dog.
Yeah.
Like, you see, you look at a place like Africa, right? Like, and like just straight lines everywhere, which doesn't even make sense. Like those are not natural borders, dog. Like, so what they did was, and this is so much problems. This is what caused so much problems this last century, where white people would get involved, take all the good shit, realize that they were wrong, and they're like, okay, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna make your society more like ours, but first we're gonna create state lines, right? And then they'll just like start drawing lines randomly, mixing people, like fucking civil wars, all type of crazy shit will start happening, and these white people just go home like, oh, they're doing better now.
I did it. Mission accomplished.
Like, mission accomplished. They know who Jesus is, you know? Like, it's crazy.
We left them a
bro.
Bible.
It's crazy.
That's what
bro.
taught
Like,
us how to
these
do everything.
These niggas were real deal villains, bro. Like,
Which is, and even we're gonna bring them to our society, which is cap. Like, I advise y'all to read this book right here.
Black people invented everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please read it. Like, like even democracy came from the Romans, cap, but like, it came from
I'm
Timbuktu
What they say, history is only written by the winners.
by the victors.
that's absolutely true. I'm curious though, who invented democracy? I always thought it was the Greeks.
It
Like, I know
came
the
from-
Egyptians.
It came from the Moors, and even maritime laws and the way we still do 90% of transportation come from waterways, came from Timbuktu. The only collegiate school in the world came from Timbuktu at the time. So that system was taught to them. Then they adopted it and just rewrote history and be like, okay, look what we did for the world. Right.
I mean, I might have been.
They
wrong, but
colonized ideas too, those motherfuckers.
I mean, that's really what it is, nigga. Like, they're not just taking your land, nigga. They're taking everything.
Yeah.
But
Hide your kids.
Like-
Hide your wife.
I thought the Greeks invented democracy, and the Greeks were before the Moors.
No. The Moors been around, bro. Like, if you think about it, written civilization period been around for 10,000 years. Like they call it civilization, but the act of writing, right? Where you can record history. But even with like, we had this discussion with the irrigation system. A lot of people think it came from the Jewish people, but I'm like, no, it came from Egypt prior. Then they came back. But the system that they had in Timbuktu, where how they elected officials, was way prior to the Roman Empire. What's the movie? Hold on, my bad. I lost my train of thought. But you know, Hannibal, the movie with Hannibal. The General Hannibal went to Rome, and he was like,
he fucked shit up. Shit up.
But what he did though, while the Romans came back, was like, oh shit. He was like, look what we have. Like, he came with elephants, tigers, a whole bunch of shit. We know how to read, math, science. This is how we preserve bodies. Whoop-de-whoop. We don't do stuff through bloodline. We elect officials. Like, if you smart enough and you understand how the system works, you go into power for agriculture. You go on the power for this, that, and the third. So then you fast forward, I think it was like 1,500 years later, the Romans now is on top, right?
Yes.
They hella on top. They go back into Africa, and what fucked up their whole system that Hannibal left in place was that the military, even to this day, a lot of our maneuvers come from Hannibal, because he's like one of the greatest war tacticians in history, right?
Facts.
So
he almost fought. He should have took Rome.
He could have took over everything, but he got too boastful. Like, he just was like cocky than a motherfucker. So they go back into Timbuktu, learn even more shit, conquer that shit, started spreading shit apart. Now the Roman Empire is like the greatest power we ever seen at that point, all right? And then that's how a lot of the systems came into play. It was like, okay, we're gonna start, instead of, because a lot of the shit was like, and they still do it to this day, a lot of the world, like, that's why generals in certain Asian countries, African countries, be hot garbage. But that was my cousin's stepsister's brother, uncle, that I know from yesterday. We're gonna get him a position of power, get him 1,000 stars. It's like, bro, you're trash.
Nepotism.
Yeah,
like the thing that I was saying was that, like, all that happened after the Greeks. Like, I thought the Greeks were the ones who invented. I might be wrong. Maybe the Greeks didn't come up with this shit, but I thought it was the Greeks.
No, you gotta. I have nothing but time. Like, that shit. Like, especially at one point, especially during the pandemic and even before the pandemic, because I only was working weekends and going to school. I do homework in like an hour and a half, and I got a whole library up here, reading, and I was just like, bro, this shit is crazy. Like, the information is there, they just like to hide it. Like, it's just like, and it's just wild. I don't know. That book that I just bought that one, and I'm like halfway through it. That shit, some of the shit in there, you just like, bro, ain't no way. Even Nike,
ain't no way, dog.
Nike and Black History Month. Like, it was a shirt that I bought. I ain't paying no mind to it. I just like the colorway, right? It was like orange and the gray colorway, fire. But it had like this weird like octagon shit on it. And within the octagon, it was like different stuff, like the stoplight and the elevator and all that on it. But I didn't peep all that. I just like the colorway. And it went with some shoes. And then when I went back and research, I'm like, okay, a lot of these shits Nike knew, but a lot of these stuff we couldn't patent because they made patents go against 1/4 of humans, right? If you're not human, you can't create a patent. So then a lot of these people would invent these things, but the people that they was above them would take it and go patent it. So you can't make no money, but it's your invention. You get what I'm saying? So they will go back and literally like rewrite history, even though the history is still there, because certain history buffs is not going to let history just diminish, because you need to understand history and know history in order to not repeat the same mistakes, or in order to move forward, especially in technology, in order to move forward faster and better, so we don't have fucking dial-up for 200 years. Now we got fiber. You get what I'm saying? Like,
and that shit fire. I got fiber in the crib.
I do too. I got that shit now. Now my internet fire, but
I got Wi-Fi.
Like it's nigga what? So like it's crazy because like I think about it all the time, right? Like I think about how significant a fork in history that was, like, and that actually goes into our supposed religious argument as well. Like, I mean, there's a chance that Hannibal takes Rome and they just revolt and they make it such a pain in the ass that these guys go back to like Spain and North Africa and just leave the Romans alone. But there's
Mhm.
also a chance that they just destroy them and they never recover, right?
Mhm.
And then now these guys are in a position to basically construct Western Europe,
Yeah.
and it looks completely different,
Yeah.
right? And like I just think like how different would things be if like these people were the ones who in positions to colonize, to name what gods matter, like all that shit, like it's nuts.
Yeah. That's like a tough concept though, because then it's almost like what if type shit. You
Nah, that's
just like,
definitely a what if. That's a
yeah.
that's a huge what
Yeah.
if. Yeah.
Talking about like
Yeah.
what if the Marvel show type shit, Pete?
Yeah. That's why I said what
Yeah,
if.
yeah.
You caught it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. No, that definitely would be. That is interesting to think like how that shit could change. What? So you said that Hannibal could have taken Rome, but
For
so like I
sure. He
so what is it that stopped him? You said it was like his pride, or so like I guess because I'm interested in that. Like, what is the reason he didn't do it?
He's
he had
just.
to
Oh, go ahead.
he had to go back he had to go back home.
Yeah.
He
His mom was
basically
calling.
he was causing havoc. So what happened was that I think his name was Invictus, right? So he was in Rome for 16 years, or in Italy for 16 years, just causing havoc, destroying everything. And Rome was just like they just held the middle finger the whole time, like fuck you, right? And
Yeah.
they sent Invictus at the time where Hannibal was from, was where Spain is today. That all belonged to those guys, right?
Okay.
And Invictus went to his place and started causing havoc. So Invictus had to, or Hannibal
Hannibal.
had to sail back and basically reset the campaign on home base.
Mm,
If
Yeah.
they could have held things down back home, he could have continued fucking Rome up. And I
gotcha.
mean, like if you would have went for 25 years, eventually they would have had to sue for peace, or they would have went into like a full siege. And if he would have sieged the city of Rome, like I mean, who knows what could have happened? He could have completely murdered everybody that was in charge. He could have, like, who knows? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it would have completely changed history. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It's just something that I think about.
Yeah, if he didn't go out, if he went out there and went on a complete onslaught, like originally, when he went out there for them 16 years, it's literally like look at my muscles, like type shit. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm big dog on campus. Shut the fuck up. Like, you get
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like he was destroying shit, but he wasn't doing it like he did prior. Like he would destroy him, like, yeah, look, I just burnt your house. Like, yeah,
Mm,
look, your building, I crushed that shit. Yeah, look, I took your gold and you can't do shit about it. Like he'll do like little shit like that. And then when he had to go back, he was like, fuck, like I should have
Sounds
just
petty.
crashed shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, like crazy.
Yo,
Yeah,
he was a villain, right? Because I'm not real familiar with the story, but he was a
no,
villain. He
no.
was a bad guy.
I mean, no, I can't
Like
even say
he's
according to the history
antagonist
books. Like
or
they
protagonist.
had they had a mutual respect for one another. Him and was it it wasn't Augustus. I don't remember who was
mm-mm.
Rome's emperor at the time, but like they had a mutual respect for one another, especially him and Invictus. Like they see each other as
like
like I
boys,
respect what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
like the way you're colonizing and fucking other people up.
Like I mean that's just the way the world was at
That, but
that
I'm
time.
saying,
You
but
know what
that
I mean?
essentially that's what it is. Like, yo, I respect the way you're fucking these people
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Like
Okay.
even if
Yeah,
those are my people, those are my folks. But yeah, damn, you did that.
yeah. Like, like
Hey, good
basically,
shit,
like,
bro.
yeah, like this nigga gangster as fuck. I see it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like two athletes.
He
So
was like, I like your energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, big colonizer energy, bro. And I'm telling you, like both of the empires at the time were on the same level. They were on the same playing field. It was after the third I forgot what they call it. There was a name for it, but they basically fought 3 wars, and after the third one, Rome just wiped them out, and that's when Rome just spread through everything.
Damn.
Shit
Wild.
crazy.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I should read that book though. The one that I showed real quick.
Yeah.
Shit crazy. Shit fucks you up too.
Um. Yeah. Do they have an audiobook? Cause reading
Nah.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I feel like they got an
They
audio
do,
book for
but
everything.
you don't need the audio. Read the shit, man. Listen.
You want somebody to
Shit,
read to you with a
Yeah.
bedtime
I mean,
story?
if
It's
he
cute.
wait, hold up. If he comprehends better with them reading to him, why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
That's
I support you,
Asshole.
Rook.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
bro. My bad.
Yeah.
You right.
I lose focus. I got like, because you
You
know
got
how
all those
when you're
monitors.
you know how when you're reading and shit, and then you're like picturing, like I start picturing shit, and then it like takes my mind somewhere else too. Like I got like ADD. I can't like focus on it. But like if I could hear it, like I could kind of
I mean,
like
have
do
you ever
something at the same
listened to an
time.
audiobook? How do you know that's not gonna happen when you're listening?
Because oddly enough, like if I'm doing something else, like if I'm drawing or something like that, like in my mind for whatever reason, it could focus on that though, right? Because I'm not picturing other shit, right? I'm picturing or I'm listening to what's going on here. And like if I'm playing Call of Duty, but I'm not like talking to people or whatever, I just have my headphones in, or like if I'm doing something else at the same time as well. I don't know, for whatever reason, I can understand it more. Like my mind doesn't drift as much. Or if I'm like working out, if I'm shooting hoops or something like that, like
Yeah, audio books is fire too. I was just talking shit because I listen to audio books at work. Like when I open,
mhm,
normally 7 to 11, the store is not open. You processing.
yeah,
So you allowed to have
Setting up the floor.
yeah. So you allowed to have headphones and air. So I put in my AirPods and I process on like autopilot
yeah,
while I'm listening to
yeah.
like
And that's
yeah,
essentially it. You're kind of just like on autopilot type shit, and you're just kind of listening. So
yeah.
I don't know. That's the way my head works. It's all fucked up from CTE and stuff, but you know. But so back to the OG kind of question, and I guess the reason I brought it up because it's like, all right, you're looking at it like if someone is working, whether it is black, white, whatever, right, whoever it may be, you know, the argument I heard for is like, why is it that if I'm busting my ass to do whatever and like, I have better grades or whatever this may be, I can't get free school, but then because of someone's past, they can get free school with Native Americans if you're a certain percentage or whatever. And I was just like, because it's going back, because like their culture is set back so far, right, from what happened that right? Like that's why. And then
Yeah.
like the counter was like, yeah, but then when you're doing this type of separation or whatever, like that shit didn't have anything to do with that individual that's going to school. Like they had
Yes,
nothing
the
to do
fuck
with
it
that. And
does.
it's like it ties back so fucking far, right? So
I
that's
hate
kind of what it
I
came up.
hate that weird ass argument. That shit is so fucking weird. Like when I say it's weird because one of the biggest assets in America, I don't give a fuck what anybody say, rich, poor, black, white, ugly, beautiful, whatever, is fucking land, bro. So real estate. 400 years ago, you had a 400-year head start when it came to real estate. Certain people didn't take advantage of it. That's not my fucking fault. But then certain people wasn't allowed to take advantage of it. Hence, Vietnam War, World War II, people was coming back home. You remember the Staten Island projects? Have any of y'all heard of that?
I think you spoke about it on an episode where when they came back, like they were getting mad land for mad cheap, right? And building
Yeah,
houses and shit. Yeah.
people was coming back with their military stipends and buying 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 houses depending on their rank.
Yeah.
But then certain people had to go back to projects, right? And blow their money, upset, PTSD, Agent Orange, fucked up, doing drugs, whoop-de-whoop, because they wasn't allowed to get certain assets. Yeah, motherfucker, free school is the least you can fucking do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally the least free school on the land that you was able to establish to set up your situation better than them while holding them back at the same time.
Yeah.
What the fuck is free school compared to land?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine not having to pay $1,600 in rent because you own where you stay at. That's a rent and mortgage is like damn near 30 to 40% of people's costs monthly. You get what I'm saying? And when you don't have that, you have the access to acquire more income. So now when your kids go to school, even though they can't get free school because they're wealthy enough to not have free school, they get 1.8 million, 2.4 million, 30 million, 150 mil, whatever, passed on with the land that they already acquired. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
To play devil's advocate though, throughout history, like nobody really is at where they started. Like you're where you're at because somebody in your bloodline conquered somebody else.
yes.
This is
I hope not.
pretty much
Fuck.
universal. This is pretty much universal across the board. So I mean, I don't know. Like you can make an argument that they lost, so they lost their land. I don't know.
And that argument, yes, could hold up, but
Who lost their land though?
The Indians.
Native Americans.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that argument could hold up. But look, within history too, especially United States history, there's reparations paid back to a lot of fucking people to allow them they just dues so they could get somewhere too. Because in the society, everybody win when everybody's winning, right?
Like I think this awareness is pretty new, right? Like back 1,000 years ago, like if they took your land, you're just done. They'll probably finish you off. That's it. You're done. But it's pretty recent that we're like, damn, that's fucked up. You know what I mean?
That's cap too, though. Because even back in the Egyptian era, you know what they used to do with the indentured servitude? That they used to capture people and enslave. Not everybody, of course, because nothing's like 100%. But they'll keep you captive for 7 years and give you land and educate you, then so on and so forth.
That wasn't the case across the board.
No. That's why I just made that statement prior to that. So that concept is not new. It's just the magnitude of that concept is going to grow bigger with the population. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you
like who are these servants though? Like if they went like because Egypt conquered a lot. Like they conquered that whole Mediterranean area. Like if they conquered people from modern day Jerusalem or Iran, like those people didn't get shit. Like they were just slaves their whole life.
They
didn't get shit. They were fucked.
That wasn't everybody though.
So how did they decide like who was getting the education and getting the land after 7 years?
A lot of the people came from like people who were born in Egypt.
Oh. So it was like their own people.
Their own people. That's really how the world worked. Like your worth was based off of what your blood was. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were from some other land, you weren't worth shit.
Originally, yes. But even you say it's newer. Go back 400 years in U.S. history, 500 years, 600 years. Like you can't even look at the list of reparations. It wasn't everybody, of course, because you can't. It's wild to give it to everybody, but certain groups was getting certain things back. Like
they gave everybody a stimmy.
All right, so let's say, all right, so
and that's false
too. Let me rephrase that. Where like it became a common thing to think about the minority people who suffered from whatever your consequences was. Because again, the majority of history was you lost, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like the fucking cons weren't giving out no reparations. They were wiping out entire civilizations.
No, but that's super far back in history. Hell no, they was slaughtering whole villages and leaving nobody half the time.
They were like extincting entire races of people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my devil's advocate angle where like these guys lost, they fought, and like the thing was that they held a lot of that land. So like the Indians, like probably like the most devastating blow for the Indians in terms of like a modern sense was the 7 Years' War, where they chose the side of the French, I think. I lost confidence that I said that. They chose
They
they
chose the wrong side.
side. They
Yeah.
chose the wrong side, and they ended up losing a bunch of shit, and they ended up moving out west. And that's when like America was like, well, since we're already going, we might as well keep going. And the whole fucking what do they call that? Manifest Destiny.
Manifest Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit started to kick in, and they went out west. Not saying that the Indians probably would not got fucked over regardless, but there's a couple factors there.
Yeah.
Even that Manifest Destiny got rewritten. And I found out about that through my history teacher in college recently, like less than a year ago. That whole cowboy shit, look up the concept of cowboys. That shit fucked me all the way up. Majority of cowboys was black and Mexican. But then on these little Western shows are white. Like, how the fuck?
I thought cowboys were people that just kept the cattle together.
No. A lot of them
Or
didn't
maybe
have
that's
no
farmers or ranchers.
a lot of them that had no land,
I'm an
they
idiot.
didn't have no ties to anything. They was broke as fuck. So they told them, if y'all could go out west as much as possible and conquer out there all the gold and all that shit, y'all could have it, right? But then when they conquered and created establishments and settlements and all that shit, they came in and took it up. I lied. You can't have it. Now go out more west.
Damn.
To go get more gold and cattle and whatever. Conquer that shit and we're gonna leave you in peace. I lied again. You established some shit that made it easier. I'm gonna come in, go out more west until they damn near went into Mexico, or a majority of it was already Mexico. But I was like, God damn, motherfuckers, y'all rewrite everything. Like,
I never knew that. So then,
Yeah, wasn't like the majority of at one point in time in history, wasn't the majority of the western side of the what is now the United States, wasn't that Mexico like
yeah,
a long time ago?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we fought a war
Damn.
to take that shit back.
So when people tell
And now
Mexicans
they're
to go
down
back to
south.
Mexico, like, and they're in Vegas, like, yo, this used to be Mexico.
Yeah,
That's it. Like I said, nigga, like you lose, that's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you asked that.
You don't even got to sign for the L. You're just taking it. There's nothing for you to
Just
sign.
taking
Like, you
it,
just gotta
nigga. Yeah, we'll fucking mail it. We'll mail it overnight delivery, bro.
fucking send you a hologram.
so then Pete,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
fucked up.
again,
Humans are
yeah.
savage.
So
It's
again,
crazy. Like we're so lucky to live in the time that we're living in right now,
I
bro.
say
could
that shit
you
all the time.
imagine living back there? Like, bro,
Hell no,
we
I'm
argue
black.
in group chats about like
No.
sports things, and like these motherfuckers
I
are
would hate it.
on fucking pins and needles every day. Like, yo, are they gonna conquer us? Like, are they sliding through? Like, what the fuck?
I can't even imagine what it was to feel like you're in your little village. Your life already sucks, right? Like like your life sucks. You're working 18-hour days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like any little fucking disease can wipe out your whole family. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, you have no rights. You have nothing. You have no way of moving up. And on top of that, like every day you got to look on the horizon where like these new group of assholes show up on the hill and just decide, you know, like I'm gonna fuck y'all up today. You know, like it's just
Damn.
crazy.
Then at one point,
That makes for some awful anxiety.
Yeah.
At one
Can't
point,
imagine
the
that
average
either.
lifespan was 35 years old. Imagine, I turned 31 next week.
Like
I would have been
like
an OG already.
It's wild, bro. And that shit was probably like inflated by a bunch of like rich old people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, all right, Pete. So again, so playing devil's advocate to again, and this isn't my stance, but like, all right, so you're taking a poor white kid, and then it's a poor Indian kid, right? And then the white kid, you know, they're out here grinding their ass off, and then like they have straight A's or whatever. They're doing good shit to try to get to school. And then the Indian kid, because he reaches a certain percentage from his lineage or whatever, he gets the free school. Like that's kind of where, in a sense, I can understand why there would be some frustration, right? Like if you're apples to apples, right? You're coming up through the same type of system, right? You're coming through the same environments, but because they have a certain percentage from their lineage, they get the free school.
And that shit sucks because I got a close to home example of that because my sister went to HBCU, Bethune-Cookman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Bethune-Cookman, since it's an HBCU, she's the majority, right? She acquired like $40,000 in debt. It was a white boy in her class. Since it's an HBCU, he's a minority. He get free schooling. You get what I'm saying?
Really?
Like, yeah, like, and my sister
They get
like,
white privilege in an HBCU?
no, it's not right privilege. He's a minority. They trying to get more minorities to go to these schools so they could get more funding, just like they do at UCF and FSU and Princeton, Yale, and all these other schools. Unfortunately, the minority flips depending on where you go. You get what I'm saying? And it's a quote a long time ago, Devil Advocate, you pay for the sins of your fathers. Unfortunately, you in a time where your race is deemed more superior financially and all this other shit, so you gotta suffer for what's going on at the moment. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it's trash because I even hate that shit that they do at jobs where you have to meet a 15% quota type shit.
Like the affirmative action.
Yeah, you should hire me because I'm black.
Yeah.
You hire me because I'm black. That shit's annoying. Like that shit. Because then when you get in there, you get certain treatment anyways. Like, hire me because I'm qualified, because I got 3 degrees and 3 certifications. Don't hire me because I'm black. You know what I'm saying? So now, because now when I get in there, I don't want you. No, but I get affirmative action because Dave about to say something. But because when I get in there now, if I behave and move a certain way, you're going to look at me a certain type of way. Oh, he wasn't qualified. He was black, but he's trash. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's weird. It's almost like we saying créole comme ci comme ça. It's like you win or lose either way, regardless.
When I was in college, my freshman year in my communications class, we had debate, and my debate was on affirmative action. And looking back at it, so it was me and this other black chick. Her and I were debating. We were on the same team against like 2 white kids, and we were on the side where we were against affirmative action, and the 2 white kids didn't stand a chance. They got buried.
Yo, so like challenging your point even more, like what's the difference between the poor white kid and a rich white kid in terms of privilege?
What you mean?
Because like you're saying that, like you're saying like the Indian kid has certain resources that he can tap into because of who his parents are.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Can't you say the same thing about the rich kid?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
You asking me the question, or you asking?
I mean, I was asking Rookie mostly because he's the one that brought up the question, right? Like, I feel like, just like Peterson said, I feel like who your parents are is gonna determine a lot of what your future is gonna be, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can focus it on just like the poor white kid and the poor Indian kid, but it really applies to all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My schooling came different. I'm not even gonna lie, regardless of the military or not. But being first generation immigrant to go to college, going to school, I make more money going to school than working a job every semester in scholarship. I mean, keeping my grades up because my GPA was high, but applying for a lot of these scholarships just because I was first generation minority immigrant, all that. Yes, but it's because of my mom barely got an elementary school education. You get what I'm saying? So it kind of, in a way, and it's gonna sound crazy saying it out loud, in a way, it played to my benefit from her being ignorant in a way. You get what, not having the access. So if she was rich, I would have had to then come back and pay for school. Then I was like, but I'm still out here fucked up. It ain't my money, it's her money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
thing is that, like, because of the way things were, and again, this isn't unique to America. This is probably the majority of cultures. We just live here, so it's the most relative to us. Like, we created a system a long time ago, and we made a lot of decisions a long time ago that affected us to this day. And we try to do things to try to even things out. And that's just one of those things where it's like, we fucked you guys over. Maybe here's a lollipop. You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, we're just trying like we're, we're trying our best to even things out. We never can. I don't imagine that this gap that exists between white people and everybody else will ever get closed. But you know, like these conversations need to be had, and the fact that they have some sort of prerogative to make these laws a thing, like, I don't know, I can't argue against them.
Nah, you can't. And certain people is they gonna like the poor white kid. I feel bad for him, like for real, because it's like you trying to get out your situation as everybody should, because you to die in the same situation you was born into is almost insanity. But
Unless
then
you was born rich.
yeah, I mean, but I'm talking about the poor white kid aspect. Like, because it's like, damn, I'm literally trying everything to get out of my situation, but it's so hard for me to get out of it because everything is almost against me in a way. You get what I'm saying? But it's just like, welcome to Black America. You get it? And I hate to say it. I hate to even simplify it that much, but it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't type shit. Like, because he should be afforded the same access to education and finances and all that as everybody. Because within this new society, this new concept is so progressive movement. Everybody's trying to move forward as best as possible. You get what I'm saying? So to hinder somebody else from doing it by any means is almost weird in a way. I feel so. Regardless of race, nationality, disability, or whatever, you should be allowed to progress without any type of. If I can't pay for school and there's programs out there that can help me get into school, then it should be accessible by everybody. You get what I'm saying? Like, so.
Yeah. Chris, you talk a lot about how you know, like the medical system and, you know, cable,
Them
whatever
niggas.
is like super corrupt and
Fuck
shit.
them niggas.
And like insurance or whatever. Bro, but school is like that too, though. No
Yeah,
bullshit.
schools
Are
way up there, bro.
crazy. Like the amount of so I was talking my fucking teacher when I was in college, my professor, he was my art professor. Dude was low key like a hippie, but he was one of my favorite dudes. He was talking about how when he went to school, it was like $2,500 for him to get his degree or whatever. And then it's just like, you know, as more people started going to school year after year, you know, the it kind of lost its value, the degree, but then like because everyone was doing it, then they start jacking up the prices and shit. And it's just like I don't know how you
Nigga,
could
it's
go about doing
crazy
that
how
as well.
nigga, it's crazy how our whole system's set up. Cause like from like kindergarten, first grade, like they're telling you like you have to go to college in order to be successful. Like that's the only path, right? But like nobody really sets you up. Like you could be a senior in high school and have no fucking idea like what's for you. Cause there's no I went to Tico, nigga, and I still felt like that. Where they actually like introduce you to trades, and I still ended up going to college being completely clueless, right? I get to this said college, right? Fucking first day, I'm 18 years old, and this guy was like, "Don't worry about it." Like he's basically presenting me a bill of, you know, whatever it was. It was like a summer class. It was like $13,000. $13,000, nigga. I was 18 years old. Man's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just sign it. You're gonna get a degree and you're gonna get a good job, and this $13,000 isn't gonna mean anything to you." Like that nigga should be in jail right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit's crazy. Like I would argue even more than fucking hospitals. I would argue that maybe schools deserve the top spot of the most corrupt fucking system in this country right now, bro.
Yeah.
Hospitals is tough, boy.
Yeah, no, hospitals probably win. Hospitals probably win.
Like,
Hospitals probably win.
You know how much my hospital bill was? And I was in the hospital for 6 days.
Nigga, let
You
Dana
thought it was
tell the
800,
story, bro.
800,000, bro.
This is crazy.
When the fuck was I gonna get that?
That number just made Chris spaz out, bro.
Yeah. Chris had to get up. Like,
Nigga,
what?
I was about to log off, nigga. Like, what?
bro, I had heart palpitations until I saw the 0 on the bottom. And then when I saw the 0, I said, bitch, why the fuck you sent me the bill? I didn't need to see that shit. Like,
Fuck that, bro. That
if I
shit's
wasn't in the
terrible.
army,
Fuck,
my
nigga.
nigga, I would have been dead. I would have told my mom, I'm not paying that shit, bro. Cancer had me. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, like 800,000, bro, 6 days.
It's just wild. Like, nigga, like, I broke my leg. I have to fix it. I got no choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just crazy. Like, they got unlimited supply. They got unlimited demand. That's what it is, bro.
Yeah. So you could charge whatever you want. Supply and demand. Shit.
Like, how do you argue a hospital bill, right? Like, that shit,
Huh?
bro. I couldn't imagine.
Don't pay that shit, nigga. That's what you do. You don't pay that shit.
A lot of people do that. Or you go in there swinging on nurses and doctors. Y'all all can get it. Like,
Wait, hold me.
Can't pay a hospital bill if I'm in jail for assault.
Yeah. Hand me my crutch so I can fucking hit you with it.
yeah.
Yeah. That shit is nuts, man. Oh, all right. I think we're just at that hour mark. Is there any closing statements that anyone wants to make?
Nigga, we got through
thoughts?
one topic. We're getting worse.
Yeah.
I mean,
it rolled over.
Yeah,
to
it rolled, so,
multiple-
yeah. we got to
Nigga,
one
we got-
topic.
so we got-
but there
We
was
got
subtopics
one and a half
to it.
topics, nigga. We got 1.5 topics, nigga.
No, it was one topic, but then like subtopics going off that one topic that we kind
It
of
branched out. As
Yeah.
it
Nigga, we
always
got
does.
1.5 topics. Bro. Like, I'm looking at it as the keeper of the list. I can only erase one thing off that bitch. That's just crazy.
So we got another 10 episodes. At
That's what I'm
least.
saying,
good.
bro. We just got material.
Nah,
chilling.
nigga. Like, fucking 5 episodes from now, Danny's gonna start complaining like, "Oh, those aren't even relevant. You should erase
Yeah.
those." When you gonna come on though, bitch?
Oh wow.
Let's see. No one tell Danny that Christian's called him a bitch and see if he like sees the episode.
Yeah. So we know if he's watching the episode. Yo,
Yeah.
Tommy, you a bitch too.
Oh wow.
This is gonna be a good indicator on whether they're actually watching these shits
Yeah.
or not.
We'll find out. All right.
Fucking all 13 views are from Woodcrest members, bro.
Stupid. You can't tell the
That's right.
secret, bro. Like
Actually, I went to Mill Run the other day and people were asking me about it. So
Really?
we might have a
Word.
couple of Mill Run viewers.
Let's go. Yeah, some videos get like around 30, some videos get like 13. You know, it's all right. We're kind of finding our niche. It's all good.
we just started though. Some
Yeah.
podcasts take like 3 years before they even start getting crazy views. So this is
Nigga,
We're gonna
niggas
pop
gonna
off
see-
with 130 fucking podcasts already under the belt.
I call it right now. It's going to be a David TikTok that sets us off. Bro. I promise you it will.
I call it too. I call it
It's gonna
too.
be a David
I don't know.
My nigga was talking about fucking what was it? The Special Olympics, nigga.
No, bro.
Oh,
Why you gotta bring that up?
That nigga was talking about the Special Olympics, man.
It wasn't. I'm not
Oh
even gonna get into
god,
what I said. because
bro.
It doesn't matter.
No.
I wasn't supposed to say it in the first place. Now you're bringing this shit up
shit was
again.
wild.
That
Yeah,
shit
my nigga
was
was so
crazy.
confident in his stance,
In his
bro. Like,
defense, he didn't know better, man. Leave the man
I didn't know
alone.
that they were terminally ill. I just thought they were.
Oh, the Make-A-Wish. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Fuck.
That
He
might-
didn't know better.
I feel like there's not enough time between that episode and now for that shit to be classic, but that might actually be the most ignorant Woodcrest moment of all time.
It's not something I'm proud of.
My nigga Danny threw a bottle of beer in the air, and I think he's below you, bro.
It's all good.
I'm
dude.
sorry, man. Fuck.
It's okay.
Nah,
But now
don't
you know.
apologize to me, nigga. Don't apologize to me.
So all the. Never mind.
No.
Let me not dig this hole even deeper.
I'm mad we laughing, bro. That shit crazy.
Yeah, you guys are guilty too. I mean, maybe not as guilty, but
No, we
y'all
not.
are accomplices
Don't
at this
track me
point.
down with your
Yeah,
shit.
no, the fuck we
Well,
not. I knew what it
stop
was. So
Yeah.
finding
what the fuck?
entertainment in this stuff.
Hey, we canceling David, not me. All right.
You can't
No.
cancel me. I don't believe in cancellation.
Okay, well, you're about to
All
find
right,
out.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Go. I want this nigga to tell the judge I don't believe in jail when he's in fucking court.
When
I
what?
don't believe
You
in
assume
jail.
I'm gonna commit a crime? I'm a law-abiding citizen, sir,
Are you?
for the most part.
Are you?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
He said for the
I
most
mean,
part.
I feel like there's some incriminating evidence on these podcasts, but I'm not going to continue further than that.
Nah, not
We
for
gotta
me.
We gotta start recording.
Driving?
and we'll
Yeah.
speak
Something about
hey,
driving?
Hey, man. Hey,
Yeah, drive within the speed limit.
Hey.
All right. And on that note,
FBI guy,
I've never
yo.
said anything like that on the podcast.
on that note,
Yeah.
it worked,
we're
okay?
gonna cut it off. Hey, we're not gonna get into it. We're gonna cut it off there.
We can get into it, dog. Like, you guys are already shaming me for the Make-A-Wish shit. Like, this shit's not even fucking worse.
Chris.
Yeah, but that's not incriminating. That's just
Chris.
ignorant.
Like you could actually go to jail for that shit.
I could be falsifying my statements. Like, who knows if I'm telling the truth? They can't prove that shit.
It could be like a rapper.
That will not hold up in court. David said this on a podcast. This is not an admission of guilt.
Didn't a rapper go to jail because he was talking about how you kill someone in a song and then they use that against him?
A lot of rappers Pooh Shiesty.
Yeah, nah,
They be
but
like
they,
under
uh,
investigation.
Yeah, no, but they found like evidence. That's
Yeah.
usually what happens. Well, they got evidence and then the nigga admits it and they're like, oh, there we go.
Through music, yeah.
There's
that
a
happens.
confession.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not releasing any music videos anytime soon, dog. I promise you.
No,
Yo,
who
a year from now
mixtapes?
when David is in a Kenny music video, bro, we're gonna release this.
I won't be
TikTok,
driving
bro.
in it. I promise. I'll be in the background, like eating a salad or some shit, promoting wealth and health.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut it off here. Thank you everyone for listening. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think, what kind of questions you have, things you want us to elaborate on. All right. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.